Outdoors here, and today I got Outdoor Analyst joined with me. So we're going to be kind of talking about knives, gear, just kind of stuff that got us into it, and everything like that, and kind of go from there. Matt is our outdoor analyst is fairly new to YouTube, but he's growing at a rapid rate. And so, Matt, just introduce yourself real quick.
Well, howdy. Yeah, this is actually my first live stream, so I never I never hit the live stream much. But yeah, I run the Outdoor Analyst channel. For the most part, I'm a knife addict, and it just seemed a lot better to start a YouTube channel about knives and axes instead of just saying I was doing it for myself. Gotta have a quote unquote budget for that to keep the wife from going at you. So
Well, you
yeah,
can kind of justify that you're putting it to some practical use and stuff, and you're like, "Hey, look, I made $100 from YouTube this month." Like, never mind the $700 in knives I bought, but
exactly. We were getting to that multiple times. It's like, okay, this is just better. Now, if I've got a little bit of an income stream, at least it makes, some sort of sense for taxes.
So, have you been kind of a knife guy your whole life, or has it been just kind of something that you kind of got addicted to, and here you are now?
I've not been a knife guy probably my whole life. Obviously, grew up with knives. We're the generation where I had a slip joint by the time I was probably 5, honestly. So I've always grown up with them, but I've been more along the line of a pew pew guy, honestly. We've been shooting and hunting in my family ever since we really could. So I was always more that route versus knives. And I actually got into it when I started kind of doing like big game hunting because I hate field dressing. I
Okay.
am. That's really, if you want the honest answer, is like, man, I just hate field dressing. So the faster I could get through it, I was like, I'm going to find some gosh darn good knives to do this. And then, well, then the bug kind of hit. So.
Yeah. Well, there's always one knife that kind of gets you into it, and then once you get that one knife, then that's kind of where it's at from there. And I background, exception for when I was in high school and going into college, I got into like swords and even got into a little bit of like sword competitive fighting type of stuff like that. And then the sword thing kind of got turned more into knives when I realized, like, hey, it's not practical to walk around with a oh gladius style sword on you or a long sword on you out in public. So you know
What?
um I mean, I'm all for it though. If you want to EDC your Viking Dane axe around, then go for it.
Okay, I gotta ask, did you ever get into HEMA? Because that actually got me interested in swords for a bit. I was like, it would be really
Yes,
fun
that's what I
to
was
find some bros
essentially
to do it.
doing. And that's what I was essentially doing was HEMA. Like, I don't even think we really called it that back then, but that's basically what it was. And we weren't in any kind of like professional league or anything. It was just more so a bunch of college nerds getting together and smacking on each other. But you know,
That was boxing back when I was in college. It was just underground boxing, which was an
yeah. Well, I
absolute
think me and
blast.
you close to the same age. I'm not entirely sure how old you are, but
I'm right about 40, so
okay, that's a couple years shy of it. So.
but started
So
kids nice and late, so it keeps me young.
yeah. So I kind of mentioned that there's usually one knife that kind of gets you into the knife world. What was that one knife for you?
Oh man. What was it that really got well, okay, I would say really was field dressing that got me in the addiction, but I think what probably got me into buying more knives was I'm actually gonna say backpacking, and the knife was the most ridiculous, awful backpacking knife ever. It was a full-size SOG SEAL team my dad gave me. He's just like, "Go out solo backpacking, bring the knife, have some fun with it, and see if you could break it." And you know what? I did what I thought back then was insane things, which was batoning. I was like, I'm going to baton this through everything I can find. It's OS 8, should be a piece of junk. But no, that knife was amazing. It split up everything. It has like a nice saber. saber grind on it, so it kind of crushed. And from that point, really, I was like, okay, I really do need to get more big knives and just knives in general. Probably, so I guess backpacking did kind of drive me into it a little bit too.
So, a lot of people will kind of criticize OS 8, but OS 8, when done right, is actually a pretty dang good steel. It gets a lot of flack just because there's a lot of Chinese companies that'll label stuff OS 8, but it's not real OS 8. But legit OS 8 can handle a lot. For me, the knife that got me really into it was the Becker BK7. That's like I had a couple K bars and stuff, but it was kind of the Becker BK7 that kind of made me the knife addiction. And I actually was carrying this in the Marines and stuff because trying to carry a sword is not exactly practical when you're carrying a full ruck and rifle of armor.
What?
Although
No, an extra 10 pounds on top of the 80? That's nothing. Come on.
well, to be fair though, one of my Marine buddies actually did carry a Roman gladius strapped to his back, and he being silly, but like he wasn't either. So
Well, it's like the last confirmed kill with a sword was like World War II with a Scottish dude and a claymore or something like that. So if you could have won up
well, he
him,
had the basket hilted Scottish claymore, yeah, and carried a bow with him. I can't remember what the guy's name was, but
I don't remember it either. I just remember thinking that was the last dude with it. Just like that's insane, awesome, but
yeah.
insane.
I mean, you'd have to have some like Giga Chad energy for that for sure.
Well, I mean, it was the time when meth was average for your average soldier back then. So I mean, take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Dan Mancho asked, "Have you guys done any bladed martial arts?" I have a little bit. I don't claim to be like a professional or anything, but military, I've obviously had, and I got into like sword fighting stuff before military, and so I don't claim to be. Um, I don't claim to be any kind of expert or anything, but I got the general gist on it, and uh, I I know enough to know what's good, but I also know enough to know what's bad, and I know enough to know that I'm somewhere in between. So,
Nice, nice. I have not done anything professional in that area whatsoever. If I'm ever going to use a knife, it's probably going to be the K-bar TDI, where I can just punch like a normal person, and that's going to be the only time I'm knifing.
yeah, those TDI knives are actually cool back in the day too. I don't think they make those anymore, do they?
I don't know if they do. They were real popular in PD. Essentially, you can just put them just right behind your pouches. Nobody even sees you have them. Just in the waistband, essentially.
Yeah,
They're pretty awesome.
there's some guys I knew that was even as like a blade, where like they can try to deploy a gun or other blade or something, and if they get grappled up or something, they can left hand just grab one and punch and stuff with it, which was kind of interesting concept. But
It did make sense. Usually, you're trying to pin your own handgun at that point instead. But hey, if you got a free hand, why not?
yeah, well, I think that was the thing is if you had like your hand pinning something, then you can try to offhand with the other blade. I think that was kind of the concept, but um so we've both have done videos of top 10 blades for 2025. What was some of them that like really surprised you this year?
Oh man, I'm just gonna probably the most surprising knife was the Lycian Woodsman. That it's just one of the most ergonomic handles I think I've ever had on a knife, and I love it for just well, quote unquote bush crafting, whatever you want to call it, essentially. But for feather sticking, making notches, triggers, like you could just work that thing for hours. And Christian puts the most insane thin edges, but not thin enough to where they'll like break. So I mean, he just has it nailed down to a science, and I love that knife. That one just took me by surprise, truly, and it's by far, even though I did a top 10 of, like, here's my top favorites, I didn't order them, but if I had to order them, the Lycian's number 1, no doubt.
Nice. So I have handled a couple license. One of them you got now, and one thing I will say with him is I think he does a really good job at balance. And what I'm kind of mean by that is another company I think is similar is a very good knife company in
Mhm.
that regards. Is I find a lot of knife companies they either will make an edge too thick and just too hard use. Well, I mean, it's really great for hard use, but it's not good for the fine stuff.
Yeah.
Or they'll make it too fine, and then it's not really good for any hard use stuff. And I find that Lycian and Very Good Knife Company and a few others out there. Actually, I'll throw Primitive Bear Knives and that as well.
Mhm.
Is they have a good balance of like this is a robust knife. It can do all the hard stuff, but it's also still thin enough and slicey that it can still do a lot of the fine stuff too. And gravitated to that as far as like a knife user myself.
Dude, I'm with you. Honestly, those are probably 3 of my favorite just makers right there. Those guys absolutely have it nailed down, especially when it comes to, like, handle ergos. Not only do they crush with the blades, but they have their own unique ergonomic styles, but each one of them, they're just excellent in their own way. Okay, but what was the favorite knife of the year, though?
Oh, my favorite
Yeah.
knife of the year? Oh man. And kind of take my because people might say this year even more than my own hawk design. I love my hawk, but this bar that we always want.
Dude, I wanted to pick that sucker up. That thing looked awesome. That looked really, really good. Because it's
Yeah, I think he has a couple. I think he just had a drop of them or something like that. But I got a spare. I'd send you too if you want to try one before you buy one.
yeah, I wouldn't mind checking it out at some point. That'd be pretty sweet. Because yeah, that looks awesome. It's like the little brother of what was the bigger version of that? Um,
The
First
first
Strike.
strike,
Yes.
yeah, which I got somewhere in here, right here. I got a first strike. I'm gonna turn my lantern up a little bit because it's getting dimmer. But I got a first strike right here. This thing is awesome. Honestly, if I had to like grab my uh, go bag and rifle and kit and out the door, this is probably one that I'd have with my like Minuteman rig. You
Heck yes. I had one for most of the year. I ended up selling it so I could pick up a walkabout. You know how that goes, just one for the other. I think the walkabout fit my like everyday sort of I don't know, tasks like just making fires out here. I think Walkabout fits it just a little bit better. But yeah, the first strike was so cool. So ultimate buck 119 feeling.
Well, that's what I like about it is it feels a lot like a classic buck, and of course, you know, like I mentioned, I was a big fan of the K Bar Becker BK7 here as well. So that's kind of uh, why I really gravitate. And of course, I got the Walkabout, which is really cool. The Walkabout is a great, just like bushcraft utility kind of camp knife too. Uh, Got one guy asking here. I think you guys tell me what steel best for a survival knife. Well, I think that's a very highly debated topic. I mean, you could ask 15 people at different times of year, and they're going to give you different answers. Quite frankly, and it kind of also a thing that's highly untalked about in the knife world, and that is philosophy of use. So I did a live stream kind of talking about it. And, a lot of times when you're kind of talking about not only knife design, but knife steel, even too, what's your philosophy of use for it? What do you intend on using it for? Is it going to just be a strict woods knife? Do you want it for a potential like combat utility knife too? Like, there's a lot of things to really consider. And I think that kind of plays into steel choice as well. But if you're talking about just a pure survival knife and uh, outdoor analyst, I'll let you kind of throw in your answer on this too. But I'm going to say you want something that's fairly easy to take care of because if it's, quote, a real survival situation, you're not going to have like all this fancy sharpening stuff or have time to sit there for 2, 3 hours to sharpen a knife. You're probably going to have something very basic and little time. So I'm going to honestly say something like ADCRV2 or AEBL, or I'm going to even throw to Bowler K329 from Work Tough Gear or something along those lines. I can go down a list, but something along those lines is what I would kind of look into.
Yeah, I think those are some pretty awesome options. It just kind of depends where you're at. Like my whole idea of like bushcraft survival, one, you're right. Like, what are you actually using that tool for? Do you have an axe with you? Do you have a saw with you? That changes the whole name of the game right there. But it also your location. Like in the Midwest, I don't have to chop down jack around here. We have crazy forests, so there's always dead wood everywhere. If I'm being honest with it, so I don't have to like do any big work. But shoot, you go into go out west, you might actually be taking legit trees down for sure. I'd say probably though, if I just had to like ballpark it, wing it, I have no idea where I'm going. I'd probably almost say like AEBL because it's super easy with maintenance. It's stainless. You can sharpen that sucker on freaking anything. Um, I like the stainless aspect of it for sure. But you're right. ADCRV2 01's pretty decent. 1095, just because you can sharpen it back up like on anything. And I think that probably matters if you have no other sharpening tools with you. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Well, it's kind of like I mentioned too. Even if you had some sharpening tools with you, like say if you had like a work sharp field sharpener, bare minimum, um, even with that being said, if it's like a legit survival situation, don't really have time. And it's kind of like I mentioned with my combat knife video too. Is you don't in the Marines. It's not like I got a little bit of AEBL, then that's all it takes, really. And so, if you're spending too much time on something mediocre like sharpening a knife, then that's kind of time that you could be spending surviving,
Oh, 100%.
So,
Oh, yeah, who has time to do that stuff? If you're surviving, oh my gosh. Yeah, even with a work sharp,
yeah,
that's pushing it. 20 minutes is like, that's a lot of time, honestly.
yeah. Yeah, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't really think about too. They kind of look at screens and numbers and charts, and it's that's all kind of fun and games and cute, but in reality, does that really even matter? you know?
Yeah, people get way overhyped on steels. Steel, I mean, even the people rip on people who make like, have really expensive knives that aren't in high end steel. They expect them to be in the highest end. And honestly, I don't think the steel makes the knife. It's the geometry, it's the design. I think that matters way more personally than just the actual steel itself. I'd rather have a way better
Well,
design 1095 knife than a Magna Cut, I don't know, knife that doesn't perform halfway as well.
I 100% agree with that, and that was actually a topic I was going to get into. Is I actually think design, ergonomics, blade geometry, depending on what you're wanting it for, and other things matter a lot more. Like if you told me, "Hey, I could have mediocre knife with kind of shit-tastic fit and finish, but it's in 65 HRC Magna Cut, or I could have a knife that has amazing, immaculate fit and finish, and a great design and all that good stuff. But it's in 1095. I'm going to go with the 1095 one that's in a much better design
Oh, heck
overall.
yeah.
Uh, and it's why I tell a lot of guys, if you're just getting into a knife world, or you're wanting something that'll last you a lifetime, or you're just wanting something, for the weekend camp once every few months, just grab you an SE. You're going to be perfectly fine with, SE3 or an SE4 or an SE6 or a SE Hungla if you want like a big chopper. Like, in all honesty, 100%, if I had to charge out the door and I could only grab one big chopper, the SE Hungless would probably be one of my like top three picks for like a big chopper, in all
Dude, I've
honesty.
seen you like go to town with that sucker. It seems like a pretty sweet knife.
I'll be honest, the SE Hungless I think is still one of the best balanced, just big chopping knives. And if you don't have one, I highly recommend it. And the thing I like about it is it's in 3/16, and I know a lot of big choppers, they kind of go more into like the quarter inch or more in thickness. And honestly, I find that at a certain point, the thickness might actually hinder it more than it helps it. But all at the same time with that, I feel like the SE Hungless, it is thin enough that you can still do machete work. I've done a lot of machete work with mine, and but yet it can still handle chopping down trees and stuff like that too. I plan on doing a part two, like long term review on my SE Hungless this year. And actually, that's going to be something I'm going to be digging into this year, is kind of re-reviewing knives. Dan, I thought 420HC was a great. If 420HC is a great all around steel, it doesn't have the best.
I'm with you on that one. Like, I love Buck stuff. I still have a, Buck 119. Absolutely love that knife. Does it hold an edge forever? No, but it's freaking indestructible, if you want me to be honest. And it's got a hollow grind on it. I probably got 4 or 5 bucks. I used to backpack with the Woodsman. Oh yeah, that Dawson Reaper that thing's awesome when it comes down to slicing, and it's a pretty darn big knife. Uh oh, think I'm losing connection here. Oh crap. I lost it for about the last 5 seconds. You're like little knife, and you can just beat the crap out of it. I was like, okay, where? After that, I have no idea. Oh yeah, that's very true. Especially if you're just like most little like hyper end steels, all they're doing is edge retention tests, and I'm like, okay, that's great. And honestly, if I've got a folder, win. I am now. Gotta love the. I'm out here in the woods. I'm trying to actually get my fire stoked back up a little bit. It's getting dark out here.
Yeah.
So kind of coming in is going to be some Cypress Creek knives, a new kind of custom maker to me. Guy that does not care, rather he's using super high end steels or not. Like I think I've got a 420 or 440 C knife coming in, and then I may have snuck in a '01 knife here for Christmas. So well, it's going to be some interesting stuff, and then none of it's. Oh, go for it.
Another what?
Oh, sorry. I think this is getting a little rough out here.
If it's my Wi-Fi, if it's just my Wi-Fi connection, it might be you, it might be me. Usually, I do pretty fine out here in the shed, but sometimes my Wi-Fi goes a little wonky.
Ah, gotcha.
So,
I'm just on using LGE out here in the middle of the middle of the woods, so it's probably me to be honest with you.
okay, yeah, my Wi-Fi is clear on the other side of my house, and so when I'm out here in the shed, like sometimes it'll show like I have Wi-Fi, but then like, does it actually work? No, not really. But one that's definitely going to be coming in the next week or so is this one here, the Night Hunter by Work Tough Gear. This thing is pretty dang epic. It's kind of what I would call like a hybrid of a kukri and a Bowie knife. Really, honestly, it's but this thing just. I mean, I would almost put this on borderline short sword. Uh, Level, but I'm going to be reviewing this in the next week or so, and probably going to go ahead and send this to both you and Missouri Survival for testing and review as well. So,
Well, hey, just a heads up. Scab's actually going to be sending that over to me next week, so
oh, okay, well, I'll
send
just
it
send
to
it over to
Missouri.
Missouri Survival then.
Yeah, definitely hit him up. I am pumped to check that sucker out. I didn't realize how big it was.
Oh yeah, it's huge. It's I mean, I'd say it's close to the size of like the Mountain Man.
Oh, shit. That's a, I love the Mountain Man. That's actually sitting right next to me. So if I need to bust up some big logs, that's what I'm using today.
Yeah. Okay, like speaking of the Mountain Man, if there was anything you can change with it, what would you change?
Ooh, with the Mountain Man, I almost would maybe make it saber ground. I think it's a full flat, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a high saber grind, if I recall right.
Let me pull it out here. Oh, I wish I had my fire going a little bit more. Yeah, it's a high saber. I'd probably make it a little thicker, honestly. You probably can't see it on the background here. Next time I'll be in a more lit place. But I probably wish it was a little thicker on that wedge so it split out just a little bit more for batoning. But I know this is
Mhm.
not a batoning knife. Like it's meant to freaking chop, and it does that so well. But
I
I'm just addicted to that baton.
I would almost like to see one in 3/16 instead of the over the quarter inch thickness and just see what the weight and balance difference is because I feel like it would be a lot quicker in hand to wield and it might not hit as hard, but it wouldn't fatigue as much either. And so I think a 3/16 version of that would be pretty neat.
That would be pretty awesome. That's probably why I like my Redbeard Blades Midnight Patriot. It's a quarter inch thick, so a little bit thinner, but it's pretty light. Like he really thinned it out, and that sucker's just fast in hand. So for me, for little saplings and just honestly sticker bushes, those little bastards, I
Yeah.
love a fast blade for that. Just kind of whips through them, kind of more machete-ish, but
Yeah. Well, that's why I was kind of mentioning the SE Hungless, or even like another one that's pretty good for it is my Primitive Bear Knives Skunk Ape here. This one, you got one as well, but I think yours was a quarter inch and mine's 3/16, and it does actually for like the brush type of stuff work really good for that.
Nice. Yeah, I figured it would be a little better for the brush and yeah, just the little more green stuff. I like the. I think mine's quarter inch of 52 100, and I do love that for batoning, which is what I really got it for, just like backyard batoning knife, honestly.
And
But
guys,
I understand yours.
I got the Spirit of Bear leather on this. If you guys are into leather, be sure to check him out. This thing's pretty epic for this knife. Um, Another knife that kind of really surprised me, and it was one that kind of caught me a little off guard because at first I got it in hand and was like, oh, whatever, kind of. And I let my twin brother review it. But then I kind of got it back in hand and I was like, man, I really like this thing. And that's the Wilderness Warrior by Work.
Ooh.
I I've been quite a nerd on this knife, but I also really nerd out to like the combat utility knives a lot. So
Dude, you're spot on. I had that out here last weekend, actually. I think I posted that. Maybe not. That knife is awesome, and it's so comfy in hand for such a big knife.
yeah, it feels nimble in hand too. If there was anything I would change with it, I wish it did not have the like choil part on it. I feel like that's kind of, and I'm not even a like anti-choil guy. I think it kind of makes sense on certain knives and other knives it doesn't, and I just feel like it's not needed on this knife. That being said, I really like the knife overall. Uh, One night, kind of speaking of choils, I don't know if you've ever messed with this one, but the B44X here, this one is pretty epic, and the choil actually works pretty good on this one. I am actually a fan of the choil on the B44X.
Well, it's big enough to do it. See, I like choils on knives that are I'm just gonna say like 8-inch blades and above. That's
Yeah.
where I think they make sense. Because if they're not like super well balanced, the choil allows you to do little work if you need to. But I hate choils on anything smaller than that generally. Just not hate, but they seem kind of useless almost.
I totally agree. I think anything like you said, like under 8 inches, I just don't really feel like you need them. And especially there's one knife that has a choil on it, and I've always loved the knife, but I've always hated the choil. Was SE3 and 4. I've always feel like they,
Yes.
they would be so much better without the choil. And I know every time I mention that, people will be like, "Well, there's the SEHM." It's like, well, the HM sucks. Like the handle sucks on it, in my opinion. I like the standard SE 3 and 4 handles, but I
I'm
just
the
don't like the
complete
choil.
opposite on that. I love those handles.
Oh, really? Yeah. See, I don't
I love
like.
it, but I hate the choil on the original, like straight up, because it's too freaking small to put your finger in there, unless you're
Yeah,
a
and
midget.
so well, it's too small to put your finger in there, but it's also like you don't really need to put your finger in there to begin with
Yeah,
for such a small knife. And I just want the extra edge, quite frankly. As for the HM handles, I'm just not a big fan of like round broomstick type of handles, personally.
oh, blasphemy, man! They're the most comfortable long. Okay, it just depends what you're doing. Let's be real. But if you're doing like continuous use, I freaking love the broom handles.
Yeah, I actually like handles that I feel like they index pretty good. So like even like these ones on the Wilderness Warrior. There's a little bit of curve there to them and a little bit of Coke bottle, but sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
feel like some handles are like too round and or they're I feel like you could even over exaggerate the Coke bottle sometimes, and they
Yeah,
kind of feel like they want to turn in your hand, but they also, especially on something bigger, you definitely don't want that on something bigger that you're going to be
that's
chopping
true.
with.
Okay, you hit Coke bottled right on. Okay, so have you tried anything from Roland Cutlery yet?
So I have something in the works from Roland Cutlery. It's going to be the Kit Pup, I think. It's like his smaller EDC size knife. Uh,
Okay, awesome.
so
I love that knife, but you're gonna be at least. I'm interested to see what you think about the handle because he does a Coke bottle that's a little more squared off, and it just is magical in the hand, I think.
Yeah, I uh feel like there is some like really good Coke bottle shaped handles. So like one of them I'll point out here I have with me is these Carol's custom scales on the White River Knives Ursus Cub, which I think is one of the
Yeah.
most epic little EDC knives. But these handles, I actually like them a lot. And I feel like there's a right way to do Coke bottle shaped handles, and there's a wrong way. Just like I think there's a right way to do flat scales and a wrong way to do them as well.
Yep.
Kenny, my twin brother is in here too. He says Puzon Bowie totally won't rotate and get you, Gabe. Yeah, I don't know if you ever seen this, but I got a pretty nasty scar going across my arm here from a Puzon
Woo.
Wilderness Bowie, and uh, I've been a little critique on that handle shape. And granted, part of it was my fault. There's that. But at the same time, when you put damn near a round handle on a big ass Bowie knife and you start chopping with it, that's not exactly a good thing either. So
Yeah, that's a problem. I've never handled one of those, but yeah, roundness on a big chopper, kind of a no go.
yeah, which
Even
then
on
kind of
broom handle knives, like they're mostly round, but even like okay, so I've got like an AA Forge Nesmic here, and I daggone, I wish I had more more light. Sorry,
you
but
got to
it
bust
has
out your EDC flashlight.
daggone. You're right. I freaking all right. Let's go here. All right, so even the Nesmic here is a little bit flat up at the top, and then flat at the bottom right there, and it just gives just enough to not roll nearly as much. If it was fully rounded, like it would just be awful. But AA Forge, so this is the AA Forge Nesmic, and this thing is just awesome. Love this sucker.
I've actually been considering designing up my own Nesmuk. I've always liked Nesmuk style blades, but I can't ever quite find one that I really like the handle on it. So I've been really considering designing up my own Nesmuk. To
Ooh,
what I want to do is do a EDC Nesmuk and like a 6 to 7 inch like survival Nesmuk. I think would be a real.
yes. I love that. I love the LT Wright. Oh gosh, it was by Chris Tanner. It's not really a Nesmic, it's more the Ulu, but he did a mini one.
Yeah, I
It
know
was
which
pretty
one you're
good.
talking about. I can't remember, and he kind of went way off the deep end with like spirit crystals and all kinds of.
Did he really?
Oh yeah, he deleted his old channel and then like started up some new like new age like spirituality channel with like prayer beads and I just went off the deep end.
Oh dang. Well, I mean I knew he was going through like a divorce and all that sort of thing, and that was kind of crazy. And I thought that was what cut it out, but well, you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Woo.
Uh, Kenny, I do got your Becker BK-19 and it is awesome. I think the two best just I guess production Nesmuks that's out there, I would say is the SCJG5 and the Becker BK-19. Both of those are
Hmm.
really awesome for like a production knife. Now, I have wanted to. You showed that double A Forge one. I have been wanting to try one of his knives for quite some time, in all actuality. But I just, you kind of got to pick and choose, and I don't got a lot of money, and a lot of times when I do want something, and I gotta like sell something to get something type of thing, and so
Dude, if you just want to try one out, I've got quite a few, so you just let me know.
okay, I might have to browse through which models you got, and I'd probably be more interested in something that's like a 5 to 6 inch blade
Okay.
range. So,
I
so-
may or may not have a 6-inch Luku coming from him, possibly in the future. Not anytime soon, but we've been chatting back and forth. That might be coming.
okay, yeah, definitely. And I think there was something else I was going to try to send to you sometime, but I'm kind of at a brain fart right now. Actually, something you've been kind of mentioning on your channel a lot lately too, and I've kind of not done a great job at it, is a lot of like more budget knives. And I know you've shown a couple like Bokers and Kaisers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And One that I've gravitated towards for like a budget knife is the Tarava uh, series. This one's the Yakari Puko 140, but my twin brother has a couple of the Scramas, the 240 and the 200, which is really cool. I don't know if you've ever tried
Oof.
any of those.
I've never tried them just because I thought back when I last looked, you had to like order them from Finland or something. I was like, I'm just not into that right now. But I've never heard a bad thing about them. Like everybody seems to absolutely think they're just about the best bang for buck out there.
Yeah. So yes, you do have to order them from Finland. It's at a Varustelika website. But to be totally honest, I've always had amazing luck with them. So their shipping is really fast. I've gotten stuff from them within a week after ordering it, which is
Oh
like
dang.
crazy to think that it ships all the way from Finland. And the last time I ordered something from them, actually the hoodie I'm wearing here, this is a merino wool hoodie, but it's from Varus Stalika, and I'm very impressed with it. And I got a thermal merino wool thermal layer from them too, and a few other things. But last time I ordered something from them, I was really impressed because I ordered something from Midway USA. At the same time, and mind you, Midway USA is based out of Columbia, Missouri, so they're about 45 minutes away from me, and it took 2 weeks to get the thing from Columbia, Missouri, and it took, like, 2 days to get the thing from, Barstoolica, so I'm just I even let Midway know about it. It's like, "How is it that I can order something from Finland and get it in 2 days, and it takes you guys 2 weeks to get something?" Like, I don't know. That
That's nuts. Midway is usually pretty good. At least they're fast to ship. Well, that doesn't mean it's going to get to you, but they're pretty quick to ship.
Yeah, it's not even necessarily Midway, it's just, post office and shipping companies here. My twin brother said the 240 sits between my seats. I ordered a knife from them and it took 3 days. Yeah, I know Kenny. Kenny's
Jeez.
ordered a bunch of knives from them, and he's always got them in like a few days or so at most. And the 240, if you like a choppy knife, that thing is absolutely amazing. Me and Kenny. We need to do a full video on it, but me and Kenny was chopping with some big knives, and I was surprised because the 240 was actually out chopping even like the SE Hungles and my V44X, which is bigger
Dang.
knives. But I, I think just the way the weight and the balance on the
Mm.
240, the fact that it has kind of that elongated handle on it, works really good.
If you get some whip on there. Plus, those have like pretty thin grinds too, so they dive in pretty good, right?
Yeah, they got thin grinds on them, but I also think the thing that helps the 240, because I know Chris Tanner actually tried to do a knife similar to the 240, and it was the JX Omega that he had made through Work Tough Gear.
Oh
And the
yeah.
issue with the JX Omega, in my opinion, is the handle weighed more than the blade did. And so then it just didn't really feel like it had a lot of ass behind it. While
Yeah.
the 240 has the kind of rubber overmold scale or handle on it, which doesn't weigh nothing, and it has just a hidden tang going all the way through it, kind of like this. And so I think because of that, it doesn't have hardly any weight in the handle, and it's just all blade weight. And I think that's why it performs so good for what it
Hmm.
is.
Yeah, Tanner had some weird designs. Had some good ones. I actually like the JX5, kind of like the Bolo looking knife from his. I've got one of those, and it has that crazy long handle, but it had enough weight out front that it still chops really really well. And yeah, I think when he just took that weight off the front end of the Omega, it's screwed the whole thing.
Yeah, I think if I was gonna redesign the Omega, I think I would have gave it a little bit longer and bigger blade, but I also would have skeletonized the tang on it. I know a lot of people gets really triggered about skeletonized handles, but I actually feel like that's why like the Becker and some other knives they're so balanced is because
Yeah.
it just takes a little bit of weight out of the handle. And I don't know why too. I see a lot of people and they're like, "Oh, they took the steel out so they can like save money. It's like it takes more money to mill out steel. It's not like you're going to recycle
Right?
that steel and use it for something, you know.
Have you ever seen a
Like I
knife
don't think a
break
lot
at
of
the
people,
handle?
huh?
I've never seen a knife break at the skeletonization sections either. Like, it
No,
doesn't make it weaker.
no. Most knives, if they're going to break, they're going to break either here or here. Is
Yep.
like most of the times where they break. And like you said, I've never seen a knife break at the like skeletonization. So I actually like skeletonized tangs just because I like the weight distribution a little bit. Just like my own design, the Eagle, which you've handled, it's actually it's a little bit more blade hefty than like the Becker BK2, but it or not the BK2, the BK7, but it feels similar. And I told a very good knife company I wanted some material taken out of this tang just to kind of re balance the weight a little bit on it.
I think what surprised me the most about that knife was how good of a chopper it was. Like, it's a solid chopper, and it's not a massive blade, so I'm not gonna call it a chopping knife, but daggone, I took out tons of little trees with it when I borrowed yours for a while, and it
Yeah.
just zips right through them.
Well, I think with that, it's the high grind, and a lot of people don't realize like how wide the blade is when you get it. I mean, it's basically a butcher cleaver with a point on it, you know. But it has just a really tall, wide blade, and like I said, I think because I took some or had him take some steel out of the tank, it actually oh kind of helped balance it a little bit and make it a little bit more blade hefty, which I think helps with the chopping. Um, Kind of going into 2026, is there any other knives or gear or pew pews or anything like that that you're looking forward to reviewing?
Oh, honestly, I'm just trying to find more custom makers and probably some more axes. I've got some. I'm trying to think. I just actually was talking with an axe maker, a local guy from what was he? Not it's in Nebraska. He's gonna be sending me a couple of like custom axes, but they're really inexpensive. Like, this guy does custom 1095 axes for like $150, and they're all USA made, hickory handles. I was like, dude, send me your stuff. If it's good, I'm gonna let everybody I know know this stuff exists. So I'm actually really excited about that. I just love finding good deals from people that can still produce stuff pretty inexpensively.
That sounds awesome. I have a handful of axes and I've done some. Oh, axe reviews. I actually have one that I need to do. I got a Condor Cloudburst axe that I need to do a review on, and blades I plan on reviewing in 2026 as well. One I got right on me here is the Bush Bear from Primitive Bear Knives, and you got my old one, but
Oh
this
yeah.
one this was the newer one. This one's an AEBL steel. It's the same thickness and same feel and balance overall. I feel like he might have these scales a little flatter, but these are just all micarta and kind of an acid wash AEBL, which I think this one's going to be really fun to use. The Bush Bear is actually one of my favorite knives from Primitive Bear Knives, and he just doesn't do a lot of them, which kind of sucks. Like I've been telling him, dude, you need to do more Bush Bear.
Yeah, they're awesome. I love it. It's a 6-inch like mini skunk ape, honestly.
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of more of a spear point, and which is kind of interesting. You don't really see a lot of spear point blades, eh, which is something I also kind of considered trying to do like a collaboration design with him, but oh, and if you're into axes, my twin brother has one that you might really enjoy. It's called Strongway Tools. I think they're made out of Finland or Ukraine or something like that, and you make them to order. So like when you order one, it's gonna take a few months to get it, type of thing. But the fit and finish on it is absolutely amazing, and they actually use ash wood handles instead of hickory, which I know that was like old medieval European thing to do, was to use ash because hickory was an American wood, so you didn't
Yep.
really have hickory. But ash, actually, uh, Ukraine 52-100 steel, and ash actually has some neat properties for like an axe handle.
It's nice and flexy too. I've got a Northwoods hatchet that's a ash, and you're right. That stuff it's beast. I don't have any issues with it whatsoever. Plus, it's gorgeous. Definitely
Yeah,
looks good.
and you're right though. I think it is a little bit more flexible than hickory is, and of course another wood that's kind of interesting. I don't know if you have any out in Indiana area where you're at, but we have a lot of osage, or some people calls it hedge, out here, and I made that bushcraft war club. I don't know if you ever seen that video, but I made a war club out of it, and just trying to carve it, it felt like you're trying to carve into rock
Oh
almost.
my
Like
god.
it's, well, put something in perspective. I think the hardness on it is double of what oak and hickory is, and
Oh, good
so
lord.
so it's a very hard wood. But I even
Sounds
on the
like
video,
Coca-Cola, basically.
yeah, and so even on the video, I was smashing bricks and cinder blocks and stuff with it.
Jeez. I gotta check that out. No, I have not seen that. We don't have anything like that over here. I think oak is about as tough as we get, which it's tough enough. I don't want anything harder, honestly.
Yeah, Osage, it's kind of like a really dark orange kind of colored wood. We got Peterbilt Knife Guy that hopped in the chat too. Guys, go check out Peterbilt Knife Guy. He has an awesome channel. So and he does some awesome nail tests and stuff. So uh is there any other kind of gear items you want or wanting to kind of try to get into reviewing, or you just gonna try to stick with blades for the year?
Oh, every time I really want to get into Le Pews, I know I'm going to lose my channel if I do that. I probably like that area a little bit more. Like I dropped a couple of videos back in the day on just like different ammos, different hunting stuff around there, and they all got the band hammer like immediately. They were released, but like two people saw them. So I would love to do that, but probably not. Probably just gonna stick with axes, hatchets, knives, and probably dive a little bit more into the philosophy this year. I think that's kind of my. I just like that stuff. I love using it, but I love kind of talking about the differences as I'm using stuff. Probably a little bit more than even doing knife reviews, if you want me to be honest. So
Hmm. I have done a lot of pew pew stuff on my channel. I found that you can't, like, your first pew pew video might not get much, just because I do think that YouTube cracks down on the gun stuff, obviously. But I also think some of it too is if you do something that's like out of like what you normally do. So if your like channel's only doing knife stuff and then you just randomly drop a gun video, then it just kind of messes with the algorithm too. So I
mm,
I think some of it is just do more of it, and then it gets more traction, essentially. And
yeah, I probably should do that, honestly. I mean, I love it. That's kind of where I have a lot of passion for peeling, for hunting, fishing. Actually, I'll probably do more fishing stuff this year too. Jacob B. Peterson's got me into a little bit more of that. We got a pond out back, so I usually am fishing about every other day when it comes to the summer. And when he started his lure company, I was like, dude, send me stuff. I'll test them all like crazy, and it's been a blast going back and forth with him and him making different lures and different color cores, and really the kind of the thickness of all those things. I didn't realize how much went into how you get that wiggle and how you get that toughness, so you can catch 20 fish with the same lure and it still looks brand new. It's those
that's
little things are fun.
yeah, I've been meaning to try some of his lures. I don't really fish a lot though. I'm kind of more of a I'm a land creature for sure. Um, it's kind of funny. A long while ago, learned I had English and Scandinavian lineage, and I'm like the least seafaring type of person ever, but
Oh, that's great. We have so many rivers and lakes around here, so I love the kayak. That's probably one of my favorite things to do with the family. We used to do it with the dogs all the time. No longer have dogs. That's thanks to the kids. But essentially, I love it. I love hopping on the water, which is where I got into a lot of stainless knives. I'll be honest, that kind of got me into it. Sucks when you're out there all day and you come back and your 1095 knives is rusted. That's just
yeah,
that's
I
so
actually did that one time. I actually filmed a few kayaking trips on the channel long time ago, and there was one time I went out on a kayaking trip and I had a SE laser strike on me, and by the
mm,
time, well, part of it too was I went through kind of some rapids and my pack went off the side of the kayak and I grabbed it, but it submerged and I threw it right back on the kayak and the SE laser strike was in there and it just got completely soaked.
oh.
And of course, and it was just a day kayak, but by the time I was done for the day, I pulled it out and it was just rust. So,
Yeah, that's just, at least it's got a coating on most of it.
yeah, yeah, it was mostly just the edge and the skull emblem on it, and I think the bolts and stuff too. I
Oh,
need to kind of clean those out and stuff, but um, some stuff that I want to try to work on for the channel for going into 2026 as I definitely want to get some more pew pew stuff going on. And I actually have a video already filmed of the I don't know if you've seen the rifle, but it's the CMMG BR4 that I got. It's kind of like
yes.
the GigaFud rifle, and I got a little bit of comparisons with it and a Ruger Mini 14, which I think both are pretty cool. But I live in a free state; I could have any AR-15 I want, basically. But it's just kind of
Same.
interesting to try those too. Kenny mentioned rifles for SHTF. Yeah, me and Kenny has like an ongoing series that we did like a shotguns for SHTF, 22s for SHTF, and we want to do like pistols for SHTF and rifles for SHTF kind of thing.
Dude, I'm looking forward to that. I love it.
And,
Keep them coming.
And me and Kenny both actually has suppressors coming in the near future too, which I've always been a little reluctant to do the suppressor thing, but I kind of got way too good of a deal to pass it up. So I'm gonna go through the BS to get one, and so there might be some suppressor stuff coming in the future. Actually, I think this uh, past deer season I used my CMMG Mark III 308 for my deer rifle, and I think my suppressor probably just gonna sit on that and be like my deer hunting suppressor.
Oh, that's perfect.
But
Yeah, I can't beat that, honestly. Also, I love 308. That's probably my favorite hunting round.
oh yeah, I like 308 just because generally what I do, and I don't know if you do something similar, but I'll zero my rifle for like 7.62 by 51, 150 grain, and then I'll just find a good 150 grain deer load. And more often than not, I don't even have to change to zero. Or if I do, it's like a couple clicks, or even if it's just like, okay, my zero is hitting here and my deer load's hitting here or slightly there, it's like, okay, it's still gonna kill a deer. Like, I'm not gonna
Yep.
worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually just kind of stick with the same grainage for just about everything. I mean, I think this year I used 150 grain Hornaday whitetail, and yeah, it was excellent. Did a great job like normal.
Yeah. Well, guys, everybody, thank you for hopping on to the live stream. Outdoor Analysts, also thank you for hopping on to the live stream. I like to try to do these live streams once a week, and sometimes we'll get into gear and gadgets and blades and pew pews and stuff like that. And sometimes we'll go off the deep end and get into some like conspiracy stuff, and then which will probably eventually get my channel banned. But um, but guys, thank you for hopping on. And as always, go check out the Outdoor Analyst. He has an awesome channel and he's growing and getting bigger and better and everything like that. Oh, one more thing I'm gonna be kind of getting into this year too is I know it sounds kind of silly, but shoes. I actually am reviewing a few different shoes and stuff. These are the Limbs Trail Thrashers, and so I'm going to be doing a lot more hiking and stuff like that. But guys, uh, as always, be prepared both physically and spiritually. Jesus Christ be praised, and as always, God bless and carry on. Thank you, Outdoor Analyst, for hopping on too.
Appreciate you having me. Take it easy, man.
Yep. Later. Bye.